Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our structured learning series on the Forensic Accounting and Investigation Standards issued by the ICAI. Today, we are focusing on a crucial foundational standard, FAIS 310, Planning the Assignment. Proper planning is the backbone of any successful forensic engagement, and FAIS 310 lays down the framework for how this must be approached professionally, systematically, and effectively. First, we will discuss objective of FAIS 310. It aims to ensure that every forensic engagement is adequately and effectively planned to meet the agreed-upon objectives, within the scope and constraints provided by the client and legal framework. This standard outlines the procedures, considerations, and documentation necessary during the planning stage, which ultimately shapes the efficiency, quality, and credibility of the forensic assignment. Next, we will discuss key elements of planning under FAIS 310. It specifies several key components that a forensic professional should consider when planning an assignment. First, understanding the assignment objectives. What are the suspected frauds, disputes, or irregularities involved? What are the client's expectations from the investigation? Second, defining scope and limitations. What areas or transactions are to be covered? Are there any limitations on access to data, personnel, or resources? Third, assessing risks and challenges. Consider potential legal, reputational, data integrity, and access-related risks. Identify any conflict of interest or independence issues. Fourth, team selection and resource allocation. Choose a team with the right mix of skills, such as accounting, IT, legal, and industry knowledge. Determine timeframes, responsibilities, and escalation matrix. Fifth, identification of applicable laws, standards, or regulations. Determine which legal provisions, compliance requirements, and standards may be applicable to the case. Sixth, formulating preliminary hypotheses. Frame initial working hypotheses based on the information available and likely fraud patterns. New point is planning documentation. As per FAIS 310, the planning process should be formally documented. The documentation should include engagement scope and objectives, constraints and assumptions, identified risks and mitigation plans, strategy for evidence collection and analysis, time schedules and deliverables, reporting structure and communication plan. This documentation not only guides the engagement, but also acts as a defense in case of legal scrutiny. Now we will discuss coordination with stakeholders and legal advisors. During planning, the forensic professional should engage with client representatives, internal legal counsel, external advisors. If required, this ensures alignment and helps identify any jurisdictional or compliance issues early in the engagement. Next is ethical and legal considerations in planning. FAIS 310 mandates that forensic professionals must maintain independence and objectivity, respect confidentiality from the start of the planning process, ensure compliance with applicable laws, e.g., data protection laws. Avoid any planning actions that could be construed as prejudiced or biased. Now an example scenario for you. Scenario: a company suspects manipulation of inventory records across 3 warehouses. You are engaged as a forensic professional. Planning as per FAIS 310 would include reviewing inventory movement trends and historical reports, defining the timeframe and locations for the investigation, assessing data availability, physical stock versus ERP, forming a team with forensic accountants and inventory specialists, identifying relevant documentation, purchase orders, dispatch records, GRNs, documenting the initial plan, and obtaining management approval. Now time to discuss importance of planning in forensic assignments without proper planning. Investigations may go off scope. Vital evidence may be overlooked. Deadlines may be missed. Legal compliance may be compromised. stakeholder confidence may erode. Thus, planning is not just a best practice. It's a requirement of professional diligence. Now, key takeaways for CA students and professionals. FAIS 310 underscores the necessity of structured and documented planning. Planning should be strategic, not mechanical. Adapt to the nature of the fraud and the legal landscape. Communicate proactively with clients and advisors during the planning stage. Always ensure that your planning aligns with legal, professional, and ethical standards. Closing statement. To conclude, FAIS 310. Planning the assignment reinforces that a successful forensic engagement begins with smart, structured, and well-documented planning. As future forensic professionals, your ability to plan effectively will distinguish your work in terms of efficiency, accuracy, and legal defensibility. Thank you for your attention.